In the previous lesson, we saw how we can create infographics and animated graphics, motion graphics, using text and shapes and gradients or ramps. And also, we use the curve editor and the dope sheet. We have a look to the curve editor and dope sheet. So we're going to continue on this topic here, and we're going to try with different types of animation. So if we zoom in here, you can see the animated text that it's coming in, and then you have like the popping up logo, and then the transparent rectangle there. So I wanted to do something similar to, like news or documentary where they have the text. And every time we create or animate anything, that is going to appear in the curve editor and in dope sheet. So if we want to go then and be more precise and analyze each single part of the animation, we can see everything in the dope sheet. This is why it's useful together with the curve editor, because we cannot see only in the timeline what's going on in our scene. We can only see everything if we are inside these other editors in Natron and also in other software. All the software they use these editors and for animation. If you right click when you select, you can also copy paste, and if you want, you can also loop the animation, change the interpolation, meaning that you can make it more edge and mechanic or more organic and curvy and smooth. Now I want to use in this lesson a vector file, a vector graphics, or in this case, you can use Vector, which is a website that can create vector graphics, or you can use Inkscape. That's a free open source alternative to Illustrator, or you have also GIMP that can create graphics, and also it's an alternative to Photoshop. So just to show you here that you can create your graphics in GIMP, and well, I'm not gonna explain too much about GIMP. If you want, there is another course dedicated to GIMP that you can check. So here, I'm just gonna set up the width and height that gonna match the ones in the video composition in Natron. So make sure you have the same size. And then I'm gonna create a layer here. And you know what this software can do, like Photoshop, Illustrator, GIMP, or Inkscape and others, they can create layers. So when you have a multiple layers situation or composition, you can divide things and um, assembly them in here and then like detach them in Natron. So I think it in many ways this is easier to create all the graphics directly in Natron. You can do a lot of things in Natron, but I think that infographics, graphic design in general, and graphics that you can use then for animation, you can definitely use another software. And you can use raster graphics, you can use vector graphics. In GIMP, we have this paths tool. The vectors are called paths. So you can see if I click and drag, I can create these curves that which are vectors. And this is one tool. Then you have also others, but this is just to show you vector graphics is based on vertices and curves or lines that are we can define vectors. So now I can move everything around. I can edit the handles here. I can be really specific, something I can definitely not do in Natron. So this is Vector, and it's a website, so you don't need to download, install anything. Just go here. We select again the size, the format we want to use. Sometimes we find the exact same we want. Other times we need to just create it ourselves. So I'm just gonna unlink here the proportions, just type the size of the composition I am working in Natron. And there you go, there's a blank page again. And as for GIMP, also in Vector, you'll find a video course in the channel. So I'm just gonna go quick here. I don't wanna spend too much time, just gonna create something really, really bad in a way and really quick. So I'm just gonna increase the size of this text and let me see here. So you have other tools here, like to create a lot of types of shapes, not just rectangle, but I'm just gonna go for a simple rectangle. And then let's see here what we can do. Well, the pen tool, again, it's similar to the one we just saw in GIMP, or you find in Illustrator and Photoshop to create vectors and vector graphics. So here you also have things that are similar to Illustrator, like you can apply directly a thickness for the line or the border, and then you can also apply a shadow and some effects of colors and shadow and things that you find here in the panels on the right to customize it, to edit it. And let's say we're ready for this. Well, where's my text? Now, where's my layers also? Well, in this case, you can find the little icons up here. When you select something, you can click on like send to back, send to front. So you can establish an order of visualization. Now, if I export this with the export button, and you see the option for SVG, which is the one we're going to use because we don't want like raster graphics or pixels here. We want to be able to access the various graphics in SVG. So I'm going to save, and I'm going to save also the layers that I can then detach and work with in NATRON. So back in NATRON, this is composition here, full HD, and then we're going to click and drag this out and then type R for read and navigate into the folder where I just saved the SVG file. So in my case, it's this one. There you go. So this is the SVG, and we can see everything together now. So once we have the source will bring everything to the table. So I can see the text, I can see the shape, I can see the vector there. Now, what if I want to start and use them separately? Now, we learned how to do this in the previous lesson, looking at the new sample. So I'm gonna click and drag and press M to create a merge node. And then I'm gonna link this merge node back in the viewer. So now again, we are seeing everything. But thanks to the merge node, in the merge panel settings here, we can change the layer. So depending on how many layers you created, then you can switch from one and the other and just visualize the one that you want. So for each layer you want to visualize, you can create a new merge node, and that's going to help you to separate the various assets. And then at the end, you need to merge back everything together. Again, just as we saw in the new samples in the previous video. So first operation is to detach them, and then perhaps you want to animate them or transform them or apply effects, and then you merge them back all together before the final export or the final view. Now that's the third layer, and I'm gonna use the A2 in this case. So I have a background, A1, A2, and these are all the layers I need. So now you can see everything separated. Now, if you don't wanna spend time creating your own graphics, you can also go and check for free SVG graphics that you can find in the web. You can find a lot of graphics. Most of these, they have layers, but the only way to know is to open them. So you need to download them, open them in Inkscape or GIMP or whatever, and see how they are assembly, how many layers they have, and so on. So in this website here, Free Pick, you can just click on this free SVG, click on the one you like, click on download, download it, store it in your folder, and then bring it back in here in NATRON. So I'm just gonna maybe go aside here. I don't want to use these. So I'm just gonna create a new viewer node. So we can switch from one viewer and the other. We can do more projects into one. And then I'm gonna create a new constant. And with that constant color, I want to do the background. So that's gonna be my B in here. So my background, and then let's make it white so we can see if it actually is there. Okay, so let's make it white. Let's link the merge to the viewer all the way around, and there you go. Now I want to add the SVG I just downloaded. So I'm gonna go for